Alright, I'm back, and now I'm going to show you how to do the nostrils and the feathered wings and tail setup. Now, I'm going to have to do a little bit of reshaping here because the model magic has settled, and I've done a little bit of reshaping. And I've also taken a look at the feathers that I've chosen, and I figured out how to work them into the dragon's character. Now, as I said, this dragon can look a little curious, but with the way I had arranged the feathers and tail, feathered wings and tail, sorry about that, she also had somewhat of a haughty, I'm better than you kind of attitude. Sort of like a swan, the stereotypical attitude of one at least. Now, not all dragons are the same, just as not all people are the same, so you're going to have to keep that in mind, that you cannot have just one personality per, your dragon. Your dragon can have multiple personalities, and no two dragons are the same. You can't exactly roll these guys out like a production line now, can you? So, to do the wings and, not the wings and tail, sorry, I was going to start with the nostrils and the mouth. You're going to want to take like a little pin, and you're going to want to tilt the dragon to face you, tilt it up, and you're going to want to figure out where on the snout you're going to want to put the nostrils, and I typically put the nostril about here-ish, then you're going to want to just put the pin in, and wiggle it around a little bit, and then repeat on the other side. Now you don't exactly get any do-overs with this unless you want to start completely over on the head, or at least on the snout, so you want to be pretty certain of where you're putting those. It's going to look something like that. And I set them a little bit low on this dragon, but as I said, your dragon will change as you work on it. To do the mouth, you're just going to take the same pin, you're going to trace on the bottom where you want the mouth to be. And this one you've got a little bit more leniency, but not much. You're going to want to also do a little padding and reshaping around the mouth area afterward. There you go. And you're going to also want to have to take a look around the snout again just to make sure it didn't completely deform. It can do that depending on how soft the model magic is when you work on it. This is very soft. I just mixed it yesterday and I kept it in a plastic bag so it wouldn't dry out. You can also open the mouth out. I might show that in a later video. I have only done it a couple times. I prefer to keep the mouth shut. Alright, so for the wings, I've chosen purple feathers, like this. And you can just find these at any craft store. Hang on a sec, that should not be there. And then for the tail, I've chosen these little wispy ones. You can use feathers that are more like the blue ones I just showed you for wings as well, but the stiffer ones typically do not work well as tail feathers. So, since I mentioned the swan-like attitude, you just take a feather, and you're going to want to remove these little plastic bits. Those are typically for if you're sewing it on the hats or something like that, I think. You're going to want to do that on all the feathers you're using. Now keep one hand on your dragon, or at least prop it up while you're doing this. Otherwise you're going to have to do a little more work on it. And you're going to just take the feather you want and match it up. For instance, you want the pattern to be on the outside typically. So this will be on the right, this left. The tail feathers, it doesn't matter. I should probably move that so you can actually see. And I'm going to have to figure out where that pin went later. Hold on. And you're going to take it and you're going to press it into Mono Magic. Just behind the shoulder. You're going to want to also arrange the feather in whatever position the wing is going to be in, so that when this dries you can just slip them back in the hole. And it'll be set. And I'm going to cross the wings a little bit at the back, like so. And this will leave a very distinct impression in the Mono Magic. And then you just remove the feather. And then you're going to have the holes in the back. So you're going to want to avoid deforming that too much. You do the same with the tail feathers, and I'm going to put the wing feathers back in there for a minute. Again, this is a good way to make sure they're completely the way you want them. And I don't know what just happened to the tip of that one. So you're probably going to want to cross it in a way that's favorable for the feathers. And then this is also a good way to figure out how they're going to sit. So push those down a little bit more. And then you're going to turn your dragon around, and you're going to take the tail feathers. It's generally a good idea to see, which ones you've got. Like I've got one that branches off, I've got the skinny one, and then I've got one that kind of curves around. And you're going to want to typically use the two that curve around to give the tail more depth, and then the third one on top. You're going to, again, push the feather into the rump. And you can use, 3 holes at the same point, or 3 different holes, depending on how you want to have the volume of the dragon. And then you can again mess with the tail feathers. And when it's dry, and the feathers are again placed, because you're obviously not going to let them dry in the Mono Magic. This dragon will look something like this. Again, you can adjust, tilt the neck a little bit, get a feel for what it is like already. And you can also have additional feathers filling out the wings more. And you're also going to want to just little touch-ups, like you might want to push some more Mono Magic up there. Round out the body a little more. And now is a good time to get rid of any extra Mono Magic down in the tail area. Again, you're just going to kind of smooth that out. And if the feather falls out, you're going to have to retake it and stick it back in there. Sorry. Check all the fitting. Sculpt a little more. mean, right in here is where the legs are going to attach anyway. So you're going to want to keep an eye on where the other limbs will attach, unless you're doing like an amphipair, and I'll cover one of those probably later, but you're going to get just an idea of how it's going to work. And I guess you could have this dragon lying down. That might work too. We'll have to see how it turns out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and keep an eye out so you can see what happens next with this dragon. You're going to, as a final step, you're going to want to remove the wing feathers and tail feathers and let it sit for a couple of days and dry out a little bit. Because otherwise, it's going to deform like crazy when you try to stick the legs on. So, keep watching, and I'll see you later.